There was a report on the 20th, and it detailed, AI Monitor, is that the publication, detailing what's happening inside the State Department. This is a Washington-based outlet that reports on the Middle East. It's been referenced in the past by the Journal, The Times, The Economist. It's a legit outlet. If anything, it leans left. And they report that Secretary Blinken is holding listening sessions with Muslim, Arab Americans, and separately Jewish staffers. You want to say students here, but no, it's staffers, amid growing internal frustration over the State Department's handling of the war. Meetings came after a State Department official resigned in protest this week over continued U.S. support for an Israeli bombing campaign. On Friday afternoon, Blinken met with a small group of State Department staffers who are members of two Arab American and Muslim employee organizations. A source familiar with one of the meetings called it an opportunity for Blinken to hear directly from the workforce since his trip to the region. It came as HuffPo reports that U.S. diplomats are drafting a dissent cable over the Biden administration's approach to the conflict. Goes on Huffington Post to talk about how there is a mutiny brewing within state at all levels, and goes on to say the negativity is surfing in a variety of ways. One official described peers as depressed and angry about it all. Another said some staff are experiencing resignation, and that official recalled a colleague in tears during a meeting over this person's view that the U.S. policy statements emphasize support for Israel over the lives of Palestinians. They're crying in the State Department because their preferred outcomes are not being advanced by the secretary and the president.
We have three branches of government in this country. We have the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. We don't have four. The State Department is not a separate branch of government. It doesn't have any freestanding powers. It is there to represent the wishes of the executive branch as tempered by the legislature, and it's staffed by people who are chosen by the executive and approved by the legislature. And that's the end of it. What the individuals within the State Department think of government policy is irrelevant. It is up to the government to set that policy. That government is elected in Congress and in the White House. If anyone within the State Department cannot abide by the policies that they're required to carry out, then they can resign, and that's fine. And we can criticize them for their views or praise them for their views, perhaps, depending on the circumstance. But this is a principle that is imperative and that is just forgotten in so many different circumstances in the modern era, where we seem to think that these federal agencies have their own volition, and they don't. I'm reminded, looking at this, especially in conjunction with the news that 400 or so congressional staffers anonymously signed, I'm not quite sure what that even means, but anonymously signed a letter of Yuval Levin's point about the role of institutions having changed over time, such that many people now go into an institution thinking that they can use it for their own advancement or as a platform on which to stand, rather than as something that they serve or that is bigger than them or that exists externally to them. The State Department has been around since the founding of the country. It's one of the original departments. It has always fulfilled the same role. It has always sat within the same constitutional structure. I just do not want to be reading, as an American citizen, in the newspaper or elsewhere, about the private views of people whose role within our system is to act as functionaries or bureaucrats. And Joe Biden is not in charge of anything because he's old and out of it. But at some point, a US president is going to have to make this point internally and externally, that we have an executive in this country who is elected, and he, with congressional input, is in charge.
But just to correct my reporting, All Monitor. This is not a publication with which I am familiar, which is why we ran it down to see if it's legit. All Monitor reporting that. He's got his own deep state now, Rich. They're crying inside the State Department. They want a different policy of the one that the president is pursuing. Welcome to the game. He's got his own deep state.
Yeah, well, this is not unusual. This is the typical State Department sentiment about this conflict. No matter what the flare-up is or the occasion for it, it's always restraint on Israel. That's always their default answer, so it isn't surprising that this is happening. Maybe there's kind of an added element from our culture and kind of campus culture spreading over, where people are crying and upset and need a safe space to deal with the fact that this is the president's policy, at least for now. And I'd underline that last point, because the gravity, natural gravity in terms of U.S. government policy is going to be towards staying Israel's hand. We've seen it over and over again. Maybe there's going to be a window lasting longer. Maybe it's already closed. Some of these reports we were talking earlier are accurate about the U.S. saying don't go in on the ground. But this is the natural kind of bureaucratic gravity, and it has to be resisted. And you hope the president and the Secretary of State have the strength and gumption to resist it. But it's understandable if you have some doubts.
Well, as autumn settles in, the Christmas decorations have already made their grand entrance. But before we allow the shopping stress to take over, take a moment to think about this. Many families have decided to embrace experiences and family gifts instead of the frenzy of individual shopping. Now is the perfect time to order the ultimate family gift, and that is a Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas. A Michael Phelps swim spa by Master Spas combines the benefits of a pool and a hot tub. Michael Phelps swim spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. Installation can take less than a day, and since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. Michael Phelps swim spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas. That's the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Order yours today. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps swim spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. Masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.